Expecting at 10 till 5 till 7 that you're going to be in the lineup.
First pitch from Jimenez is fouled off by Kosuke Fukudome. Chicago had a day off in town yesterday. They last played in Cincinnati on Wednesday, got shut out 4-0. That was the only ball game the Reds won out of the 3 games that Cincinnati hosted the Cubs. That slider's out and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Rockies met the Cubs in the opening days of the season. In fact, the Rockies were the Cubs' opponent for their home opener at Wrigley Field. It was a quick 2-game set. Rockies won 1. Jason Marquis got the victory, and they lost 1.
And it was cold.
It was really cold both days. Here's the 2-1 on Fukudome, and that is hit in the air in foul ground, and it will be back in the seats. Hey, what's up with those seats down the left field line? Do you have any idea? There's no one sitting in them right now. Well, there's a couple of people.
That's unusual, because typically this is the bottom portion of this is sold out.
Somebody telling bad jokes over there? I mean, there's no one there. And the rest of the stadium's jam-packed. That's up high. It's 3-2. First couple of fastballs at 98 miles an hour. There's some oohs and ahs in the crowd at Great American Ballpark when Jimenez hit 100 miles an hour the other day, but then it kind of moved to the wayside when he did it about 10 more times in the game. Not how he wanted to start. He walks Fukudome. You can talk all you want about 97, 98, but you gotta put it over the plate. So Fukudome at first and Milton Bradley at the plate. Here's a look at the rest of the Cubs batting order. Derek Lee, Aramis Ramirez, Giovanni Soto just off the disabled list. Alfonso Soriano. I don't think I've ever seen a batting order with him in the 6 hole.
I'll go ahead and take him out.
Yeah, Fontenot Terrio takes Zambrano out of there,
gone.
which is, listen, you hope he's well. You want to beat a team at its best, and it's a shame Zambrano can't go. He also affects their lineup because Zambrano is maybe the top hitting pitcher in baseball.
Oh, I think so. He's got 3 home runs this year and 18 or 19 for his career. So yeah, he's a guy that can not only do it on the hill but also with the bat.
You know, Micah Owings in that group, the guy who can hit the long ball, tough out. There's Jason Marquis, one of the outstanding hitting pitchers in the game. That pitch is inside, 2-1 on Milton Bradley. Bradley's come on after a very disappointing first half. He's hitting right about 300 in the second half.
Yeah, June was just an awful month for him, along with a lot of other guys on that ball club.
Swings late at that. It's 2-2. He ended up 3rd for Lou Piniella in the National League in on-base percentage in the month of July, .457. He's always battled a lot of injuries.
Fukudome, he'll run a little bit. Has 6 stolen bases, been also caught 8 times though. It's not a real speed team. A team that looks to steal a lot of bases.
That ball's ripped to right, and Fukudome's going to go first to third, and the Rockies don't have anybody out. You got Derek Lee going to the plate. I didn't understand that sequence. Why slow it down when Bradley was late at 98 a couple of times?
Yeah, that's the one thing. I mean, kept fouling off that way. You speed up his bat, he gets a base hit to right field. The fidelity scouting report for Ubaldo, we all know about his fastball, curveball, slider. It all depends on how he's spotting his fastball. And that's the key to him because he does have that riding fastball. We talked about what he did in his last start in Cincinnati. Gave up a couple runs early and then just really shut the door down. But one thing that Ubaldo's going to do, he's going to go out there and typically give you at least 6 or 7 innings.
Well, this is looking very similar to his start in Cincinnati when he gave up a run in the first inning. He's going to have work to do First and third, Derek Lee at the plate. Lee at 291, 22 home runs, 72 RBIs, kind of typical Derek Lee numbers, but most of those numbers have been put up in the last 67 games. On the ground, this is a double play ball. Run will score as the Rockies turn it over.
Well, you'll trade 2 for 1 right now this early in the ball game.
Yep, absolutely. Defensively, Dexter Fowler runs out to center field. Seth Smith was originally in the lineup. Carlos Gonzalez was originally in center. He slides to left, Hop and right. The big news is Omar Quintanilla getting the start at second base. Folks, he has not had a start since May the 20th. And he is, as his manager will tell you, as Jeff Houston will tell you, who was a utility guy at different times in Jeff's career, he is as professional as it gets. You talk about one of the hardest workers on the Rockies, and he never says a word. He gets his work in and then some, and he's getting a start tonight because obviously people who follow the Rockies realize Clint Barmes is struggling offensively.
Yeah, and good for him. I mean, only the 3rd start all year for him. And part of the reason, what you were just talking about, Drew, the reason Omar stayed around as long as he has is because he is a professional. He goes out there, keeps his mouth shut, does his job, and he's getting the opportunity tonight.
This is in the air to Brad Hop in right. Ramirez is retired. A run for the Chicago Cubs. The walk hurts Ubaldo Jimenez. By Quest, get 2 free gigs of online backup with Quest high-speed internet. And by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. One 0 Chicago on a pretty Friday night. Sean Marshall gets the emergency start, and he misses outside ball 1. Marshall's a guy that's been around, and he has been a starter at different points in his career. He's a guy, Huey, from your work in the Cubs organization, you're very familiar with.
Yeah, a 6th-round pick back in '03 for the Cubs, and out of Virginia Commonwealth University. This year, he started some games early on. His last start was back on May 31st. His numbers as a starter are 2 and 4 with the 4.87 ERA, but the big thing for him was the batting average against 276, but as a reliever just 184. That's part of the reason why they thought he would be better served to move out to the bullpen.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Dexter Fowler, a double in each of his last 3 ball games. And Dexter has come on offensively after watching more or less for 5 games in a row.
And sometimes that's good. You need that backing off just a little bit, especially for a young guy, and that's part of the reason why Jim Tracy's doing it with Clint Barmes. Back off, watch the game for a couple days.
Pitch just missed. Our home plate umpire is Chris Gaccioni from Salida, Colorado. Angel Campos is at first, Bill Welke at second, Jim Reynolds at third base. The last thing Lou Piniella wanted to do is have a bullpen day the first day into Colorado. That's not how guys want to handle Coors Field typically.
No, and that's one of the things. Now it could blow up the bullpen for the rest of the series.
Well, Marshall, a good start. He strikes out Dexter Fowler. And that was a theme from the last couple of days when they struck out 22 times in 2 losses to the Phils, in which they scored just 1 run. Carlos Gonzalez, Todd Helton, Troy Tulowitzki led the Rockies with a .371 average on the 10-game trip. Brad Hoff, Ian Stewart, Chris Iannetta, Omar Quintanilla, again his first start since May the 20th, and Ubaldo Jimenez. Gonzalez did some very good things on that road trip with the bat. He takes a slider on the edge, inside edge for a strike. Too many swings and misses the last 2 days.
Yep.
And, a lot of that has to do with Jay Happ and Cliff Lee in his second start with the Phillies, the American League Cy Young winner last year with the Indians.
I think a little bit too is you get in a ballpark like Philadelphia where you feel like you can hit a home run on every single pitch. I think they got a little pull happy in that series too.
Well, he left that one up, and it is a fair ball on the right field line for Carlos Gonzalez, who could fly. He is picking up Richie Dower, who says, hold there. Behind 0-2, Carlos Gonzalez, Huey stays hot at the bat.
Well, and that's why he's got the start tonight. Yeah, it was going to be Carlos Zambrano, but instead of taking him out of the lineup, Jim Tracy said, you know what? This young man's been swinging the bat well. The curveball just stays about belt high, and he stays on it, hits it down into the corner. And this is where the speed really comes into play, because he gets over there and he has a chance to go for 3, but Milton Bradley out in right field played the ball just perfectly, and Carlos picked up Richie Dower just like he should as a base runner.
6th hit this year against a lefty for Carlos Gonzalez, now hitting .333 left on left. And help down the left field line. He's thinking this may be fair. And he was watching it, and he said, you know what, maybe it doesn't have that much tail on it. And he started heading to first. 0-1 on Helton as we take a look at the Fidelity scouting report on Sean Marshall.
Not overpowering. He is over the top. He will cut the ball into right-handed hitters. Curveball, we've already seen it a couple times. It's a big 12-6 action. Slider's just a little late thing. It doesn't have a whole lot of bite to it.
Shows the fastball inside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Helton. Todd has an 11-game hitting streak going. And he'll tell you that he's not exactly tearing the cover off the ball. It's pretty much been a hit a night. That's low, 2-1. Hitting .261 during the stretch. 12 for 46. Rockies a chance to tie it up with 1 out. Gonzalez at second base. And this is back up the middle and on through. It will tie up the ball game. Todd Helton's got a 12-game hitting streak, and we're all even at 1. Wasn't hit particularly hard, just hit where there was no defense.
Well, that's what it takes sometimes, and that's why you do have a 12-game hitting streak, because you're able to hit the ball where it's pitched. You'll take the ones that are hit right off the end of the bat, not hit too hard, but up the middle. Sean Marshall's in a good fielding position, but because he's left-handed, if he's right-handed, he might have an opportunity to get that ball. And then when Mike Fontenot wasn't able to get it on the dive, you knew Carlos Gonzalez was going to score easily from second base.
Now here's Tulowitzki. He's got the average to .267. And Troy gets a cutter on the hands, and he fouls it off.
Well, that's the way Sean Marshall's able to keep the right-handed hitters honest, not looking just off the plate or looking for that big slow curveball. He's learned how to cut it into right-handers and keep them honest, foul that ball off, so they know in the back of their mind it's there. But the thing that Troy's been able to do lately, drive the ball to right center field and to right field.
1-1. At one point, Jeff, as you recall, they had high hopes for Marshall that he would be in the middle of their rotation, not at the back end, in the middle of their rotation.
Yeah, he was slotted as number 2, number 3 pitcher coming out for the Cubs.
1-2. So it is a luxury for the Cubs, similar to the Rockies. If they were in the same situation, they'd probably throw Josh Fogg out there, and a guy that can handle it, a guy that's been around a while.
Well, and that's the thing. With Marshall's been up long enough now, he's almost 27 years old, that he's going to know that how to prepare, and plus he's a reliever, so he can go out there and get ready in 10 or 15 pitches, and that's what he had to do tonight.
He's fouled off into the crowd. It remains a ball and 2 strikes on Tulowitzki.
But the key for the Rockies is if you can go ahead and elevate his pitch count early on in the ball game, like we've seen them be able to do to numerous pitchers, then all of a sudden it goes back to your point you made just a little bit ago about the bullpen. Now how all of a sudden that's going to become a much bigger issue, and that's an area that the Cubs have struggled this year, is out in their bullpen.
Troy drives it to left center field. Takes a look. He's going to go first to third. Here goes Tulowitzki in his second. Head first slide. He's safe. Good base running by Tulowitzki. Bangs the gloves together. And the Rockies have 2 more in scoring position against Sean Marshall, the emergency starter.
We'll talk about keeping your hands back and thinking the other way, and then if they throw you something soft, you're still able to stay on the ball. That's what Troy did here with that breaking pitch from the Hyundai Cam. See the rotation on the baseball? And all of a sudden he drops that head down, gets that barrel right in the perfect position with a little toe tap to attack the ball. And then once he does that, he's running hard out of the box the whole way. That's what allowed him, when Fukudome struggled a little bit getting the ball out of his glove right there, a little extra hot before he made the throw. And then it was an easy double.
Here's Brad Hopp. He pinch hit in the 9th inning yesterday and had a base hit against Brad Lidge, and he's got a base hit here. Here comes Tulowitzki around third. He'll score as it goes off Milton Bradley. Brad Hopp will go to second base. Rockies have a 3-1 lead. A single, 2 RBIs for Hopp. An error allows him to go to second base.
Nothing like answering right away after the other club scores in the top half of the first inning, and now you jump out on a young man that's just got the spot start. Brad was able to stay on the slider. That was the one I talked about earlier from the scouting report, how it's not a real hard one. It's just kind of a roller up there. Stays on it, drives it out to right field for a couple runs, and then Milton Bradley just butchered it out there for his 3rd error of the season.
I think Milton's glad he's not on the south side of Chicago, or north side of Chicago. They'd be all over him.
Yes, they would. One more look at it. He gets his glove down there, tries to go down with 2 hands, just didn't look it all the way in, and kicked off to his right, allowed Brad to get into scoring position.
That'll bring up Ian Stewart. Stewart didn't get a lot of playing time against Philadelphia with all the lefties. That's a strike. Garrett Atkins started every ball game. Kind of the same situation for Carlos Gonzalez as well. Stewart, in his last start on Sunday in Cincinnati, hit a home run.
There was no doubt about that one when he hit it.
Yeah, oftentimes,
usually
you're not saying, boy, I wonder if that'll get out.
Did it just get over? No, it usually gets out by about 15, 20 rows out.
Usually you're hoping whoever the fan is in the 3rd deck has a hard hat on. There's a missile coming in his direction. Hopp at second. The Rockies with 3 runs on 4 hits here in the bottom of the 1st. Still just 1 out. And now you see Marshall pitching a little bit more off the plate.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just trying to nibble up there instead of, because what's happened is he's thrown some balls over the plate. They've gotten hit hard. So he's I don't want to do that again.
touch the inside corner there, 3-2.
Well, not a pitch that you're looking at as a hitter, left on left. You're not thinking that he's going to be able to throw that kind of baby fastball, borderline pitch. You want to get one that you can drive a little bit better.
Stewart kept his hands back nicely there. I thought the same thing. You and I were talking yesterday during the ball game. You were watching on television. I was watching from the press box, no TV, in Philadelphia. I thought the swings got a little big yesterday.
Yeah, they really did. Just watching it just from the TV vantage point, you could just see the way the swings were getting out and around the baseball, not straight to it.
Inside, ball 4 on Stewart. 2 more on base as Chris Iannetta will make his way to the plate. Here are the Cubs defensively. Alfonso Soriano, Kosuke Fukudome in center, Milton Bradley in right. Aramis Ramirez healthy again at third. Ryan Theriot at short. Mike Fontenot, his buddy from LSU, at second. Derek Lee, outstanding first baseman. And Giovanni Soto, who missed more than a month with an oblique injury, making his first start. He came off the disabled list today. Coy Hill, what a job. 26 straight starts for a catcher.
Unheard of in this day of age. I mean, yeah, Jody Davis did it back in '86. Caught 30-something ball games there, but now 26 in a row.
That pitch in there to Iannetta.
Well, this is where you got to keep your foot on the gas right now. You got an opportunity, if you're Chris Iannetta, to drive in a couple more runs with the gapper. Doesn't have to be a home run, but add on, because Marshall is a spot starter. He's going to be out there for a while.
You don't like to see action in the first inning if you're a Cubs fan. Jeff Samardzija, the former Notre Dame two-sport star, is up.
And that was a guy I thought they might go to originally because he had started down in Des Moines, had 12 starts down there. But I thought he might be the guy instead of Marshall.
Chris Iannetta yesterday was 0 for 4. Struck out 3 times. A frustrating day for the Rockies as they lost 3-1 to Cliff Lee. Fans, feed your Rockies fever at Taco Bell. If the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and feed your fever with 4 tacos for $1. Now that's a steal. Check stores for more details. Good job by Chris. And you know, when we talk about big swings, the approach now for Chris is more of a 2-strike approach.
Right, instead of just swinging from your heels trying to hit one out. And yeah, he had a home run or 2 on the road trip, but you think about it. If you stay small, stay to the big part of the field, that's right center field, the left center field. If they throw you in, then you just pull your hands in and you pull the ball that way.
And he was fooled way out front, so Iannetta goes down, and that's the second out here in the first.
Big breaking pitch from Sean Marshall, 6'7", really different window that you're looking from as a hitter. And he got Chris out on that front side and he got him able to swing over the top of him.
So here's Omar Quintanilla. And Omar takes a look at the curveball. Not how you typically want to glance at it. You want to duck and have it break near the strike zone. Quintanilla has to stay ready. He's been on the roster since day 1. Just his 38th plate appearance. And I'll tell you this much, and you know this to be true. When he gets in a little bit of a groove, he gets some at-bats. He's a guy that he'll surprise you with his size. He's got some power.
He does. Think about all those games he filled in last year for Troy. When he was hurt, he was able to go out there, run out there a number of times.
Hit a walk-off game
run. Yeah, exactly. Here at Coors Field. And it's not easy. Because you get out there, you don't have an opportunity to get your timing other than in batting practice, an occasional pinch hit. but now you're going up there and you're trying to see a pitch at the same time. You're deciding whether I have to swing at it. All these things are happening in a blink of an eye. And you just go up there and you just try to battle, shorten your swing up. Like that one right there.
Yeah. And you know what? This may be, tell me if you feel different. This may be a better matchup right now for Quintanilla, not having as many at-bats because Zambrano's mid-90s.
Yeah.
And Marshall is not going to throw it by you.
I would completely agree with you, Drew, and I was thinking the same thing because Zambrano's a 92 to 96 mile an hour guy where he can overpower you. But even though it's left on left, you don't feel as a hitter when a guy's throwing only 86, 87 miles an hour left on left. I was a left-handed hitter. I don't feel overmatched that way. Now, say Marshall was a guy that threw 93 to 94 from the left side. That might be a different story.
Sure.
You might have seen Garrett Atkins in the lineup instead of Omar even at a late switch.
Good eye. 2-2. You know, and this is a bonus for Omar, as opposed to, you had to fire at the first or the second pitch, and you ground out whatever. Now you only have 2 pitches. Now he's seen, 4 or 5 pitches.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, and the next pitch is going to be Sean Marshall's 40th pitch of the ball game already.
He's going to need at least one more, 40+ pitches in an inning. I mean, he wouldn't have that many in a relief situation typically.
No, because for a number of games until they got Grabo from Pittsburgh just a few days ago, Sean Marshall was the only left-hander out in the pen for the Cubs.
And a ground ball to second. Fontenot will throw out Quintanilla. The Rockies down 1-0 after half an inning respond with 3 runs against the emergency starter Sean Marshall. Gonzalez got it going. Helton was involved. Tulowitzki and Brad Hawk drove in 2. 3-1.
He just made the last out of the inning. I had a chance to talk to him at length before the game, and I said, this is the day we're going to talk about you, Q. You get a start. And I said, how long have you been such a great fielder? We're all under the assumption that's what he's all about. He goes, you know what, to be honest with you, I was known as a hitter coming out of high school. As you guys mentioned, he hit 17 home runs as a junior, 16 as a senior. His 3 older brothers who were down in El Paso where he's from, they helped him become a proficient hitter so that he could go to Texas, as this is fouled off over my head. I talked to Jeff Baker, the former Rocky, who's now with the Cubs, and he said, you know what? He can rake. We played together on Team USA in 2001, and I said, Q played short. He goes, no, I played short. Q played third, and Omar can hit there. He's hit everywhere. His fielding came about when he said he played at Texas on AstroTurf, believe it or not. And Huey, you can comment on this. He said that gave him more confidence, and that helped his fielding. But he's been known as a hitter back in the day. You remember his nickname, Rooftop, from high school.
Well, if you watch him take batting practice, we see batting practice every day. And granted, these guys are big league players. There's not a guy who takes batting practice at 5 o'clock and you say, boy, he can't hit. I mean, they all can.
Yep.
Swung on a miss. Soto gone on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball by Jimenez. But Quintanilla, this isn't a token deal where he's in the big leagues. He can play defense, and he has the ability to swing the bat.
Yeah, and part of the reason, as I mentioned earlier, that he's here is because he just does his job and doesn't cause any sort of waves for Jim Tracy. But yeah, to go back to Mark's point just for a second, there's nothing like fielding on AstroTurf. Oh, that is such a nice feeling. You don't feel like you're going to get any bad hops. And what a nice complex they have down in Texas.
Here's the 1-0 on Alfonso Soriano. And that's stabbed by Jimenez, 2 outs. Rockies fans, go to FSNinsider.com and check out the Douglas County Water Pick'em. Pick a team to win and see how long your streak can go. We do that every week. It's a lot of fun. Douglas County Water Pick'em. Mike Fontenot will come up. We've told this story a lot. Fontenot and Terrio and Brad Hopp, all close friends, all played together on the 2000 LSU National Championship team.
Fontenot and Terrio go way back. They were teammates and friends since they can remember. Talking to Ryan Terrio before the ball game about his time.
Outside of Baton Rouge, right?
Yep, just outside of Baton Rouge. He's just moved, but yeah, they work out together with the LSU baseball club.
The LSU baseball club was in the NL East to be 2 games ahead of the Nationals. Is that right? That's not right.
No, that's not right.
I'm sorry, my bad. Fontenot's going to back out. 1 and 2, 2 outs, nobody on. Rockies up 3-1. Let's take a look at the keys to the game, brought to you by Burt Automotive. Jeff?
Home sweet home. How nice is it to be home after that 11-day, 10-game road trip? Then the bullpen, of course, because of what's happened with Zambrano, and then who blinks first? Which offense, pitching staff, who's it going to be? And so far, the Cubs have blinked first, because the Rockies scoring 3 runs.
And that was when Lou was going to send out Carlos Zambrano.
Yes. Because that was going to be the matchup, pitching matchup between those 2 hard right-handers. Waldo from the Dominican Republic, Carlos Zambrano's from Venezuela.
Here's the 2-2 on Fontenot. Back up the middle. There's Quintanilla. Told you he had a nice glove.
Oh, yes.
Well done by Omar. Yeah. Good inning for Jimenez. 3-1, middle of 2. May the 20th, Jim Tracy talked about his prowess before the ball game.
I want to really feel like we are thoroughly defending the field, and I think it's very safe to say that Omar Quintanilla is a professional ball catcher. That's exactly what he is.
One of the great traits of Jim Tracy, Huey, as you well know, and you could feel this in his days in L.A. when the Dodgers would be in town or we were out there, he gives every player on a 25-man roster great confidence.
Well, it makes you feel wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody likes to feel wanted. And as a guy that's been the 25th man before, the 11th guy out in the bullpen, you want to make sure that the manager, first of all, knows who you are, but also has the confidence if he puts you out there that you'll do your job.
Well, Jimenez has had better at-bats. That looked like something out of cricket where he was trying to defend the...
You know what it looked like? It looked like a swing a couple years ago. Not what we've been seeing lately this year.
That was a flashback.
Yeah. The other swing, too. Remember, Young Kim used to take both feet off the ground sometimes to swing the bat. That one, only 1 foot came off.
Listen, he looked like Manny Ramirez compared to some of the swing BK took.
Those are bad.
Dexter Fowler struck out his first time. Here's the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Check it out with Angel Campos. Did he indicate that he went?
No, I don't think he did. I think he said he was able to hold up. This takes a lot of arm strength and a lot of wrist strength, and he pulled that bat back at the last second.
2-1. My favorite BK one was one where he swung, he jumped up, and he was facing the other direction.
Got completely turned around.
He did a complete 180.
Yep. I remember that swing. With good eye. Been painting you away, painting you away. Able to stay off that slider. He tried to backdoor it off to the last outside part of the black. Going back out there again.
Are you like me when the ball goes up because of dusk? You see it off the bat. When it gets up in the sky, you can't see it anymore.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the outfielders are doing right now. Is they're yelling at the infielders, "Hey, help me out here!" And the infielders, what they have to do is when that ball goes up, if it's hit anywhere towards the outfield, they have to start pointing to those guys because it is a very, very difficult sky right now.
Good swing. Sean Marshall was on the ropes in that first inning. The Rockies scored 3 runs on 4 hits.
Well, he threw over 40 pitches in that first inning. He hadn't thrown more than 40 pitches since his last start, which was back in May.
And this is punched to right. Fair ball. Extra bases for Fowler. Milton Bradley gets it out of the corner. Fowler thinking about 3 bases. Here's the throw. Not in time. Triple for Dexter Fowler. Number 6 on the season.
The only reason he was able to hit the ball to right field is they kept going away, going away, going away, and that time they went away one too often. Boy, that head position of that bat, that's what allowed him to drive that ball to right field, keep it fair down there, and then just the all-out speed. I mean, just picking it up and putting it down. He didn't even need to look at Richie Dower. He knew as soon as he got about 10 feet away from second base that he was going all the way to third. Now you draw the infield in for the Cubs. Try to cut off that run.
And you have a confident young player in Carlos Gonzalez at the plate. I asked him in the clubhouse tonight, I said, have you ever hit in the 2-hole? And he said, I did a little bit with Oakland last year in the big leagues.
When you're going well, yeah, you don't care what order or what spot in the order you hit. 1, 2. Of course, he had a lot of 3-hole down at Colorado Springs that allowed him to drive in all those runs before he was called up. But just his approach now.
Completely different guy.
Completely different guy. was talk around the All-Star break whether he might have to be sent down for a little refresher course. Well, I think that's been answered.
2-0 is fouled off. And Ramirez, you know what? Maramis really couldn't see that either, Jeff.
No.
Could you tell?
You know, the way he took off after it made it look like, wait a second, I'm not sure where this is going to end up. And he's a pretty good third baseman over there. He'll gather up anything that comes to him.
So Fowler, a one-out triple. Those are good numbers. 5 for 7. Infield in, outfield straight up. Windshield chipped or cracked, don't wait. Call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, or visit safelight.com. Here's one of my favorite Carlos Gonzalez stats. 30 starts, the Rockies 26-4. Good luck charm. Good swing.
Well, managers look at that too. Even when he wasn't hitting all that well, he was still going out there and playing solid defense.
Very coachable, very likable.
That's right. A lot of people rooting for him in that dugout. Jim Tracy, Tommy Reynolds, former manager down at the Springs, now the bench coach.
Three and 2, good eye.
Very good eye.
I mean, he didn't have this at bat's a 3-4 minute at bat, right? He could have had 8 at bats a month ago in this span of time.
Well, because he was looking to try to hit the very first pitch when he went up there. If not, he was going to hit the second one. He didn't feel confident enough to get into a count even at 3-2.
He fouls it off the glove of Soto. Helton waits on deck. Rockies trying to add on. Keep in mind, their last 2 days in Philadelphia, they scored 1 run in 18 innings. Got shut out by Jay Happ. And then Cliff Lee gave up a first inning run when Dexter doubled. And after that, he shut out the Rockies with a little help from Brad Lidge late. Ryan Madsen also threw in that ball game in the 8th inning.
I just look at this, and if I'm Lou Piniella, I got to look up at the pitch count right now. 61 pitches. Next one's going to be 62.
He's got 4 outs.
And he's gotten 4 outs. That's it. I mean, how much longer can you afford to go with the guy? I mean, that's why they got Jeff Samardzija up there.
Samardzija's thrown 60 pitches in bullpen.
Because he's already been warming up one time in the first inning.
In the air to right field. Is it deep enough? I don't know. Bradley circling, and Fowler's going to test the arm. Throws plenty of time. And Dexter's out at the plate. So it turns into a double play as Gonzalez got it in the air, not deep enough. So the Rockies threaten. They do not score in the second. They'll take a 3-1 lead to the third. here in the third inning. After 60 some odd pitches, he is gone. And Aaron Miles, another player just off the disabled list, he was activated on Wednesday. The former Rocky will pinch hit here in the third inning.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. After we were just talking about it last half inning, how much longer can you afford to go with Sean Marshall? Well, this is how far. He was able to go 2 innings, and that's it. Now you go to your bench already with Aaron Miles.
So Sean Marshall goes 2 innings, gives up 3 runs on 5 hits. Miles at the plate takes a 98-mile-an-hour fastball up high. It's 2-0.
Yeah, 62 pitches for Sean Marshall. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been worse than 3-1 right now.
He's one of my favorite players in the game, Aaron Miles, because of the perseverance he displayed. 9 long years to get to the big leagues, and for the first time in his career, he comes to Chicago as a multi-year deal.
Boy, that's nice when you're one of those type of players that struggles and then you get to the big leagues and then you get a multi-year deal, because typically it's year to year, baby, try to make the club.
Yep. And it's well deserved. Aaron Miles can hit.
No, he can't. Plus, he's a switch hitter.
He's a switch hitter, and he's not going to hurt you in the infield. They play him at shortstop. The Rockies really never did. They play him some at shortstop. His best position, second base.
Well, he filled in at shortstop the other day for Ryan Terrio when he was hit by a pitch, missed the ball game.
Kosuke Fukudome worked out a walk on a 3-2 pitch his first time up, and he takes ball 1. He would come around to score. Milton Bradley singled him to third, and a double play ground out by Derek Lee brought him home. 2-0. Fukudome trying to have a much better second half in 09 than he had in his first year in the big leagues in 08. He was very good the first half of 08.
He was all the rage.
He was all the rage, and then he got a lot of rage sent in his direction from the bleacher bumps.
Not the good rage?
Not the good rage in the second half, and he really struggled with the bat. Here's the 2-2.
A lot of those were the home runs, too. I mean, 10 less home runs in the second half than the first half. 31 less RBIs. That'll do it for you.
And a line drive to center field, a base hit. Second hit for Chicago. And that'll bring up Milton Bradley. Now, Fukudome's responded well in the leadoff spot, hitting .321.
He doesn't strike out quite as much as Soriano. And that's part of the reason they went to Fukudome there. Slide Alfonso down to the 6th spot.
I said it earlier, Huey, I don't ever remember Alfonso Soriano, whether it was with the Yankees, the Texas Rangers, who were playing for Pinella with the Cubs, ever in the 6 hole. 1 and 3, yes.
Yes.
Never that far down the lineup.
Nope. Well, Lou went to him and said, hey, this is where it fits best for our lineup right now if you slide down there. And I got 2 guys that are hitting pretty well at the top of the order now.
2-0. Iannetta's going to come out. Tulowitzki's going to join.
I like that. Just let him catch his breath just for a second. Hadn't missed bat on the last 2 pitches, but hadn't put the ball right where he wanted it. So now they tell him to step off the mound just for a second. Gather yourself. That's a veteran guy in Troy Tulowitzki. He might not be veteran in years per se, but just his leadership ability. as a shortstop. He's that captain of that whole team out there. Even though Todd Helton's over at first base, that shortstop's always the captain.
Now 3-0. We said it before, Jeff. Ubaldo Jimenez is a marvelous talent. They are not going to beat him with the bat, typically. And that's ball 4. The only thing that'll get him beat is if he puts a couple guys on and then a Derek Lee hits one in the gap and all of a sudden it's a 3-3 game.
Yeah, or hits one out.
There's 2 outs, nobody on.
Right. And that's the frustrating part for your fans at home, for the guys in the dugout, everybody, as you sit there, you got your first 2 guys out pretty quickly. Then you gave up the base hit. Okay. And Milton Bradley, if he even hits one out, he only has 8 home runs on the year, so what? It's still a 3-3 ball game, but now you bring up their leading hitter in home runs and RBIs, and a guy that has hit very, very well here at Coors Field.
I mean, you don't want to see him here. Plus, it's already, 4 or 5 extra bullets, depending on how this at bat goes with Lee. That takes away from the possibility of you working 7, 8, or more. 1-1.
Well, right now, he doesn't have that feel for his fastball. And that's why you saw that first pitch was a slider. I'd like to see Chris go maybe back to that slider again to get him back onto point.
In the air to deep left field. And Carlos Gonzalez makes the catch. A crowd of nearly 50,000 holding their breath. And Gonzalez tracked it down. The beauty of having 2 center fielders in the enormous acreage of Coors Field. Single in the first inning. And wouldn't you know it, he's coming up to bat right now to lead things off in the bottom of the 3rd.
Strange how that works.
Yeah, how timely. Rockies up 3-1. It'll be Helton, Tulowitzki, and Hop against Jeff Samardzija. And Samardzija's first fastball at 94 is too tall, ball 1.
I mentioned it earlier, Samardzija started down in Des Moines for 12 ball games, 94, kind of a short arm stabber type before he really comes to the plate. He'll throw anywhere from 92 to 96 miles an hour. Also has a split finger, slider, occasional changeup.
like he took something off there, but that's not where you want to miss.
Not with the split finger at 86 miles an hour. That just speeds up the bat to a nice BP fastball when it's hung up there. I just marvel at Todd Helton's ability to foul off pitches that other guys would swing through or not even be able to catch up to.
He is amazing. Jeff Samardzija, one of those unique athletes that could have played at the highest level in 2 sports. This is a line drive. It's caught in the air by Theriot. He could have been an NFL wide receiver and decided to go the baseball route. We got, you know what? Our friends from Taco Bell are taking care of us, and this is Rob Alvarado. Rob's the president of the Marketing Association for Taco Bell. Rob, thank you. I know you can't get the microphone on, but you heard about the way lean Jeff Houston can eat, and you brought 2 for Huey and only 1 for me. We're going to give one.
Thank you.
We're going to take it. We're going to give one to Dougie. Ooh, we got 4 tacos for $1.
Perfect. You
so
know what?
And tonight we're going to get 7+ runs, right?
Don't our
Rob,
kids,
thank you very much.
Our kids love this promotion a lot, don't they?
Are you kidding me? I know, because yours can drive.
Yes.
With the exception of your youngest.
Yeah,
Cody.
but he takes my youngest.
Right. You guys are dining there literally like 4 or 5 nights a week.
That's right. They love it.
And my kids love it as well. So thank you very much.
Right.
It's a great deal. Thanks, man. Well, you know what? It's coming up on our snack time, isn't it?
Just about. Let me see. What do we got? Oh.
You know,
I can't eat on. Well, Frazier
would have had 3 of those down already. Oh. Here's the 2-1 on Tulowitzki. It's fouled off.
Dougie, you want a bite? Yeah, Dougie's like eyeballing him.
Doug.
Here, go ahead and give him the whole box. Don't be stingy with him.
Sam.
Don't give him one.
I want to give one to Sam.
Come on.
Look at Sam.
Doug can eat. Sam can eat. We know that. They don't have to talk.
Sam hasn't turned anything free down in 45 years. Here's the 2-2. And Tulowitzki fouls that off. Now, folks at the truck are starting to pop off. They want some tacos as well. And we'd love to bring them to the folks in the truck, but there's a strict rule down there that you're not allowed to eat in the confines of the production truck.
To fall into all those buttons.
We'd love to, but sorry.
So we'll just keep them up here for ourselves.
The Rockies need 4 more runs, and everybody's eating at Taco Bell tomorrow. 3-1, they lead in the 3rd. Good on by Tulowitzki. Troy a double in his first inning at bat, would come around to score on a Brad Hopp single. And this is a pop-up in the infield. Theriot backing up. Two outs, and that'll bring up Hopp.
They'll get a little research for me in between innings, because I was wondering where the AAA club for the Cubs, Des Moines, Iowa, where they were playing, because they might have to, Jim Hendry, who's their GM's here at the ballpark tonight, he might be on the phone with their manager saying, hey, hold this guy back. We might need to get an extra arm or 2 here tomorrow. Or just a short hop, skip, and a jump from Des Moines, because they're playing at home against Reno.
You know, through the years, and particularly in the pre-Humidor years, and then maybe for a couple of years after, when people still didn't believe that the game had changed, teams would come in and they would make sure that their bullpen was fully stocked, even sometimes going with a short bench and adding a pitcher in case they had to burn up some arms in the bullpen in a high-scoring ballgame.
Yeah, and Lou was asked about that today coming in, because they knew they were going to have to activate Soto, what they were going to do, and they decided to send out like a hot power.
1-2-3 inning for Jeff Samardzija. We'll go to the fourth. The Rockies 3 and the Cubs 1. Some offense, but outstanding pitching because they hit only 246 in the second half. This is Aramis Ramirez, and he fouls it off. That's brought to you by, I'm sorry, Jeff, real quick, brought to you by Jack in the Box. Right now, try the mini Buffalo Ranch chicken sandwiches, 3 mini home-style chicken fillets on toasted mini buns. On the ground to third, Stewart.
I was just going to add to your point about the Cubs offense. Since the All-Star break, they've scored 114 runs, which is second most in the National League. Guess who's first?
I was just going to, it's obviously something strange. I would say like the Washington Nationals.
You're exactly right. You peaked. 115 runs.
I
but
did
isn't
peak.
that amazing?
That is amazing. They've won 5 in a row.
I know. And that's where the Rockies go on their next road trip, go to Florida first and then to Washington. But that number shocked me because you think about the Washington Nationals, you kind of put them in the same category as the Washington Generals. Don't you? I mean, but they do have some. They can throw up some runs.
They have a big league lineup.
They do.
That's another nasty slider. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Giovanni Soto, who struck out his first time. That's the only strikeout for Jimenez. He did strike out 8 in his last outing. Here's the 1-2. See you later. That's right down Broadway. And Soto said something to Chris Caccione. He's got to work with him the rest of the night. I mean, that thing was center cut.
I think he was saying, you know what? Why did I swing it?
Yeah, it had to be something like that.
Because he's not going to look back there and say, how could you possibly call this a strike? Because it was center cut right at the knees, thought it was in. Maybe he's just saying, you know, I didn't see that ball on my rehab down in rookie ball in Double-A.
Here's Soriano, and he pops it up to left field. Don't collide. Dexter Fowler glides over to make the catch. A quick inning and a very good one for Jimenez. 3-1 Colorado.
Tell us the active pitcher with the most home runs. Active pitcher. Think about that. We'll get to the answer coming up. Back to the booth we go, guys.
All right, Mark, thank you. Active pitcher with the most home runs. Well, Rick Wise has been retired for a while. Don Robbins has been retired for a while. Ian Stewart with a big swing and a miss. He's behind 0-2 on Samardzija. This is a different cat on the mound. Marshall, I don't want to call him a complete soft tosser, but Samardzija can run the fastball in the mid-90s. There's a base hit the other way for Ian Stewart. Now, Mark, I noticed you're in one of those sections down the left field line and the right field line that doesn't have any folks in it. What's going on? Because every other seat in the deep recesses of the upper deck are taken.
That's the key that's strange. The upper deck is sold out. The speculation is that there's some kind of a glitch with a computer at a ticket agency or maybe an outlet that sells tickets or something with a ticket glitch. That's the only thing anybody has come up with. Cannot figure it out. But these seats are not sold and they're not seated in, obviously. But this place is pretty much packed. It's strange. It's odd.
Yeah, it is odd. It's a shame there's not a bad seat in the house.
No.
But those are really good seats down there.
There's the opportunity for a couple foul balls maybe down in those sections.
Yep. Here's the first pitch to Chris Iannetta, and he fouls it off.
Yep, talking about foul ball down in that section. That's exactly what happened.
And what happened? Stout gets it.
Give it to a kid.
How can that be? How can they sit together? They look like they're related, too. Well, you know, it wouldn't happen in Milwaukee.
Oh, no. Or St. Louis.
Definitely wouldn't happen in St. Louis. Inside 1-1. So the Rockies had a very solid 5-5 trip. It was odd. You know, you lose 3 in New York against a beat-up Mets team. And then the Rockies go on a nice roll. They blow out the Phils in the opener, and then they get handled the last 2 days. Outstanding pitching performances from Happ and Lee. But if you go on a 3-city trip east and you say, well, if we go 5-5, what do you think? You take it.
Oh yeah, you would, especially when you look at that road trip and the Rockies only scored 33 runs in all those ball games. And you're thinking 33 runs in 10 ball games, and you're going to come away with 5 wins. And especially a place like New York, it's just a house of horrors there. No matter whether it was the old one or the new City Field, it didn't matter. Then you go to Cincinnati, a team that's been down, but you do what you have to do there. You take 3 from them.
Yeah, the Rockies are wondering if maybe the Mets could build another new stadium because they didn't do well at Shea,
right,
and they didn't do well at City Field.
And I go back to that first game of that road trip too, where you had the opportunity in that ball game. You're up 3-1. And end up losing that game.
Here's the 2-1 on Iannetta. He gets tied up in knots. No swing.
Well, that's good. Because from the naked eye up here, it certainly looked like he went around. That could have been one of those ones that the umpire gets blocked just a little bit. A lot of body angle, and a lot of times umpires will look at the way the body reacted. Of course, Lou Pinella's not happy with it.
There goes Stewart, and it's in the air to right center field. Well hit. Really well hit. Gone, in fact. That's how strong Chris Iannetta is. He inside out of that, out of the yard. 2-run shot, make it 5-1 Rockies. Home run number 13 for the Rockies backstop.
Well, you think back to that pitch right before that wasn't called a strike on that check swing. What about that happy smile from Chris Iannetta? And that's what he's able to do. He can hit the ball out just like a lot of guys from foul pole to foul pole on this ball club. And when he stays through the ball, you can just see the strength and how he's able to drive it out to right center field like a left-handed pole hitter. One more look, and Carlos Gonzalez is off, or excuse me, Ian Stewart's off with the pitch. He doesn't have to worry about other than just trotting around.
You don't want to get ahead of yourself, but with Ubaldo's stuff and the way he's pitched, it should be it should be. It should be game over with 5 runs.
It should be. You're exactly right. But that's where he has to stay focused.
Yep.
For the next 3-4 innings to turn it over to Houston Street and that backside of that bullpen. But don't lose sight of it. Don't think, okay, I've got a 4-run lead right now. How do I make sure I get it to the 7th inning? Still focus on that next pitch.
Yep.
Get it one out at a time. I know it sounds elementary, but that's exactly the mentality you have to have.
Fontenot throws out Jimenez, 2 outs. Let's answer that Affleck trivia question with Mark Stout. Mark?
Here you go. The active pitcher with the most home runs. It would have made sense, obviously, with Carlos Zambrano pitching. And he got scratched. 19 for Zambrano. Second, Hampton at 16. Then it's Owings with 8. Levon Hernandez is in there with 9. Jason Marquis with 5. He hasn't homered this year. A couple of the things about Zambrano. 10 of his 19 homers at Wrigley. He's hit 4 in Houston, 3 in Cincinnati. And in terms of Rockies pitchers, and think Houston and Cincinnati, he hit one off Josh Fogg last year in Cincy, and he hit one off Taylor Buchholz when he was with the Astros back in 05. So there's the answer. Zambrano, but not pitching here tonight, guys.
Now, Zambrano does a fair amount of pinch hitting during the season for Lou Piniella, and he did it for Dusty Baker before Lou Piniella arrived. 2-strike count on Dexter Fowler, who tripled his last time up. Now it's from the right side. And he's got himself another base hit. Samardzija has given up a couple of 0-2 hits here in the inning. One to Stewart, now one to Dexter Fowler, and that will allow Carlos Gonzalez to swing the bat.
That's why he's been up and down some, because he still doesn't have that pinpoint control. Pitches you can get away with down at AAA, you can't do here at the big league level. That was a slider that they wanted to try to bury to that back foot, but left it on the inside part of the plate.
How about Dexter? He's 7 for his last 15 at the plate. They're being given a few days off.
See if he tries to take off in one of the first 2 pitches.
That's up high on Gonzalez. His chance to study came with Stewart at first to begin the inning.
Right, and that's where if you're paying attention down in the dugout, you look at those sort of things. You try to time him mentally in your mind. How quick is he to the plate? Giovanni Soto, a very strong arm behind the plate, throwing out 30% of the runners, 16 for 54 on the year.
They've done a very good job controlling the running game, because Coy Hill's thrown out better than 40%.
Yep. Well, Matt Sinatra, their first base coach, former catcher himself, he's the one that calls for the pitch outs, everything else.
There goes Dexter. Soto's throw is on the bag, not in time though. And I thought everything was solid. Samardzija to the plate was pretty good. Soto's pop time looked pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was right at 2 flat. It's just one of those instances where Dexter just outran the baseball. Got a good jump. The transition is fine. The tag, everything about it was good, but just got down there for his 25th stolen base on the year. Right in there onto the backside of the bag, and you could see where Ryan Theriot caught the ball towards the front side of the bag a little bit. Had to sweep all the way back across his body.
And the swing pitch, the 1-1 pitch, swings in favor of the hitter Gonzalez. So it's 2-1 with Fowler in scoring position. 2 outs in the Rockies' half of the 4th. And this ball is pulled to Derek Lee. In the inning, the Rockies get a couple of more. Chris Iannetta with a 2-run home run to the Rockies bullpen in right center field. 5-1 Colorado. We're off to the 5th. or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By Dex, take the sport out of finding local information with Dex in print and online at dexknows.com. And by Burt Mazda, lease the new Mazda 3 at Burt Mazda for only $159 a month, plus Burt Mazda will make your first payment. Pretty night in the Mile High City, and the Rockies leading the Cubs 5-1. The Cubs will stay over. They get an extra night in Denver as they'll play Monday. It's an unusual.
Well, with the off day on the front side, too.
Yeah. Usually when you have a 4-game set, it's Thursday through Sunday or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Every once in a while, you'll see the computer spit out one of those Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday deals. That's what has occurred here.
And, you know, with all our traveling with the ball club, on Sunday, those guys are going to be packing their bags saying, shouldn't we be leaving?
Yeah. Especially when you play a Sunday day game.
Yeah.
It's just strange to go back to your hotel. That's way outside. So Jimenez came out of his delivery there. And that's the third walk for Ubaldo as Mike Fontenot goes to first, and that'll bring up Ryan Theriot.
Hey, the first 15,000 fans 21 and older. 21 and older through the gates tomorrow, Saturday, August 8th, will receive a floppy hat courtesy of Isle of Capri Casino and Hotel. Purchase your tickets to this game versus the Cubs at all the usual places, including calling 1-800-388-ROCK or online at ColoradoRockies.com.
Now Baldo has to work out of the stretch. And that pitch is in there for a strike. We're going back very quickly to Mark's Affleck trivia question tonight. The most home runs ever hit by a pitcher in a career, Wes Farrell hit 38. And this is a looping line drive to right. This is exactly what I mean by when Ubaldo gets himself in trouble. He walks a guy, and then a ball not hit particularly hard, but it drops in for a hit. Now all of a sudden you got 2 on,
right,
and nobody out. But because the bullpen has already been utilized with Sean Marshall having to make the emergency start, so Marja will hit for himself, and then it makes sense here. You're going to sacrifice anyhow. But now if you get a hit, if the sack gets put down, you get a hit behind it, the Cubs are back in the ballgame.
Right, and it's just really just one swing away if that does happen.
That bunt is too hard, and they'll get the force. And a hard takeout by Mike Fontenot. Good clean baseball.
Yep.
It looked like with the naked eye. He came in and made sure he got into the legs of Ian Stewart.
Well, Samardzija now 0 for 16 on the years, does not have a sacrifice bunt. You can tell this is the way Ubaldo hops off the mound and makes a strong throw. And nothing wrong with that play from Fontenot. And a lot of fans were booing this and that, but the way Ian Stewart stayed on that bag just an extra second too long allowed Fontenot to go in there, a clean hard slide right at the bag. Because what Ian was thinking about doing was going ahead and throwing over to first base to try to get the double play that way, get Samardzija, who wasn't necessarily running all that hard down the line.
And you know from having played every infield spot, you're used to getting your spikes out of the ground in the middle. At second and short, when you're turning a double play. At third base, you're not as conscious of that.
You're exactly right, and that's why he did it. Now you're going to get the double play.
4-6-3, well done. Quintanilla to Tulowitzki on to help. And Jimenez not hurt by having 2 men on with nobody out. 5-1 Colorado, middle of 5. 4. And then Tuesday, the Rockies have a 3-game set with the Pittsburgh Pirates. They won't play them all Tuesday. They'll play Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. First pitch swinging, Todd Helton flies to Milton Bradley. 1 out, and that'll bring up Troy Tulowitzki. Rockies got 3 runs in the first against Sean Marshall. To recap, Carlos Zambrano, who pitched 3 innings and then had to be removed in his last start because of back spasms, went down to the bullpen, and he never even had the catcher get in the crouch. He just lobbed a couple of pitches and turned to the pitching coach and said, "I can't go.
I just can't do it." And we talked about it on our open. If you know this is going to happen, you would think that Zambrano would have alerted them earlier into the day, saying, "You know what, my back's still pretty stiff. I'm not sure if I can go." Or at least have somebody else out there tossing alongside of him in case he got up onto the hill later on and 15 pitches into the warm-ups before he came out into the ball game, say, I can't go.
Hello.
That was a little Nuke Lelouch.
Well, what that was is he was tired of giving up 0-2 base hits.
Trying for the bull in the background from Bull Durham. Goes right off the plexiglass. Ooh, 97 miles an hour on that last fastball.
Well, he's got a great arm.
Giddy up on it.
I would think he's pretty uncomfortable at bat right now.
Yeah.
Because he's not entirely sure where it's going. Maybe he can stay with that slider. It's 3-2.
Well, you just got to gear up for the fastball. Soto's trying to tell him to calm down. Just try to hit the mitt.
Tomahawk off the glove of Ryan Theriot. Let's see how that one scored. It may have been knuckling, and if it was, I'm sure Tulowitzki will get a hit, because that was not so high that Ryan, you would think, shouldn't have made the catch. See if this is knuckling.
Well, it has that top spin on it. He thought it was going to be up a little bit. When he started to jump for it, he didn't really come off the ground very much. Just kind of alligator armed it just a little bit with his hand.
No word yet. Here's Brad Hopp. It is a hit. Tulowitzki takes off, and he's out.
Well, I don't know about that one. Looked like he got his left hand in there before the tag was applied. High throw from Giovanni Soto. One more look at it. Got the jump. Straight steal. Did not turn around to look. See how he does it right here. Yep, that hand is in there. He tagged him on the elbow. From behind the cam, we'll get a lot better look at this. Theriot goes for the swipe tag. And you can see the bend already in the bag before the tag is applied to Troy.
This ball's lifted to left field. Soriano will make the catch. So Tulowitzki was given a hit. He was cut down trying to steal. 5 innings completed Coors Field. The Rockies 5 and the Cubs 1. same number of career wins. Baton 41, play for teams which started the series 54 and 54, as well as both being switch hitters and throwing right-handed. A lot of similarities. Carlos has had the much better career since then than Victor. 1-0 on Milt Bradley. Signed a lucrative 3-year deal in the offseason as a free agent. Last year he played with the Texas Rangers, hit .321, 22 home runs, 77 RBIs in 126 games. What was curious about the signing, there's never been a question about Milton Bradley's ability. You know, he obviously has had some infamous blow-ups, but that's not where I'm going with this. It's the fact that Milton's also had so many injuries in his career. He's not a guy you can typically count on to be out there 150 ball games a year, not anywhere close. He's played in more than 140 games one time in his career. That was when he was playing for Jim Tracy and the Dodgers in 2004. Otherwise, his high watermark in games played was last year 126, and then in 03 with Cleveland 101.
Yeah, so 2 out of those 3 years were back when he was a younger pup.
Now that is walk number 4 allowed by Jimenez, and again it's a leadoff walk for the 3rd time in the game.
Well, he's able to get out of it last inning with the bunt play getting him at 3rd, and then the double play. But you can't continually put your leadoff hitter on base. He's done it twice. He did it to lead off the ball game with Fukudome. He ended up scoring.
And he was fortunate when Derek Lee, who's at the plate now, came up in the 3rd with 2 men on and 2 outs. He hit a drive to deep left center that Carlos Gonzalez ran down. It's a ball that's well out of Wrigley Field.
Oh yeah, and off the bat here I thought it was out, but Carlos got the jump on it, was able to catch it just at the base of the wall.
Shattered bat chance for 2. Tulowitzki in a hurry, and everybody's safe. Quintanilla reached down to field the ball, and I think in his haste maybe to turn 2, dropped it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he does just a flat drop of the baseball. A fastball gets onto the label part of the bat for Lee. And Troy has to come in. He scoops it, makes a fine feed to Omar, and then he just drops it. He didn't look it all the way in. He already started to peek to see where the runner was. And that's what allowed him to take his eyes off the bag. That's the first error of the season for Omar. And that one really hurts because I don't know if you're going to be able to turn 2, but at least you're going to get the leadoff guy. The lead runner to get 1 out. Now you're still in double play. It's still double play opportunity.
Yeah, and again now with a power hitter at the plate, who could get the Cubs back in it. Aramis Ramirez takes strike 1.
Well, this is where we always talk a lot about hitters picking each other up or a fielder picking the pitcher up. Well, now the pitcher has to pick the fielder up. He's got to make some pitches, whether it's a strikeout, another ground ball, double play, give him another opportunity. Pick your teammate up.
Time for tonight's Quest high-speed pitch. Jeff Samardzija hit 97. Oh, I didn't see that. Ubaldo hit 101. Wow.
Missed that one.
So did the guy who's probably at the plate. It's brought to you by Quest High Speed Internet. 2 on, nobody out. And that time Ramirez went 1 and 2.
Well, couldn't hold up on that 98. It wasn't quite 101, but 98 still pretty powerful.
I always say this whenever we see Aramis Ramirez, you think he's been around for years and years, and he has, but he's only 30. He has 6 100 RBI seasons.
Seems like he should be about 35.
Yes, it does. 1-2, and that was fouled off. That fastball at 98. It's the 3rd Cubs third baseman in history of driving 100 in a season. Ron Santo,
who did not make this trip. He stayed home this trip.
Legendary Cub. Andy Pafko also. Ramirez throughout his career. That's how you drive in 100 runs. You're tough with runners in scoring position. This year he's hitting .381.
Yeah, for a big guy that hits the ball out of the ballpark, he can cut down his swing though when he has to. Go into a two-strike mode.
He's gone on a nasty hook. So Ramirez strikes out, the first out of the inning, and just the third strikeout for Jimenez tonight.
Well, one of the few curveballs that we've seen him throw, 82 miles an hour. After the 98 mile an hour fastball, you're geared up as a hitter, and Ramos just couldn't hold up. Now, Ubaldo's done part one of picking up his infielder. Okay, he got the big strikeout of the number 4 hole hitter. Now go get Giovanni Soto, get a ground ball double play, and that'll be part 2 and part 3.
Soto hasn't gotten it in play yet. There's 2 strikeouts, and a fastball in there for strike 1 on Giovanni. Jeff mentioned it in the open last year. It was a landslide victory in the Rookie of the Year vote. He had every first place vote but one. Votto got the other first place vote, Joey Votto at Cincinnati.
31 out of 32 possible votes.
They hit .285, 23 home runs, 85 RBIs, and he was the first rookie catcher in forever to start in the All-Star game. Here's the 0-2. See you later. Been a tough return for Giovanni Soto. Come back to the big leagues. Who do I draw? Ubaldo Jimenez. That's no fun.
Nope. Ubaldo really has a feel for that curveball now. That's been his last 2 go-to pitches to get the strikeout of Ramos Ramirez. Now he goes to Giovanni Soto. That one he got over on the top for. So it came from the 12-6 that we talk about. Not quite so high, but that had the action on it. The one to Ramirez was more of a curveball, but he got out to the side, so it broke away from the right-handed hitter.
This is a guy you always have to be careful with, especially first pitch. Alfonso Soriano.
Yeah, he
19 home runs for Soriano.
He likes to jump on that first one on the inside part of the plate.
The Rockies have won an incredible 14 straight against National League Central teams. Trying to make it 15 in a row tonight against the Cubs. And they overpowered him with that fastball.
A lot of those were on the road, too.
They were.
In St. Louis, he had...
That's really where it began.
Yeah, right after the Houston.
Right after Houston, they won the last game there. Then they swept the 4-game set from St. Louis, rolled through Milwaukee. 86 pitches in for Ubaldo Jimenez with 2 outs in the 6th inning.
It's not unusual for Ubaldo to throw 107, 108 pitches from the ball game. He leads the National League right ahead of Tim Lincecum for pitches thrown per start.
And this is a flare to shallow center field. Dexter coming on, can't make the catch. 1 run will score. Going first to third is Derek Lee. He had that big swing from Soriano, and I don't know if Fowler saw it initially off the bat. 49th RBI for Soriano. It's 5-2.
Well, the many people are here at the ballpark tonight. You really can't hear the crack of the bat like you normally can, and that's one of the things that an outfielder has to look at. If he can't hear the sound, then he goes by the swing of the hitter. And even though this was right off the end of the bat, you can see it from the Hyundai cam, the bat split in half. You can't tell that as an outfielder. So you just go and try to get to that spot as quickly as you can. And you saw Milt Bradley come around to score, who walked earlier. It just goes back to the numbers. 39% of all leadoff walks score.
This guy is a talented offensive player, not hitting for the kind of average you'd expect. He's at .232. He does have 9 home runs. Mike Fontenot, a little guy with significant pop. 1-1, and he represents the tying run. 90 pitches in now for Ubaldo. That's what I mean. When you put people on, you can make a great pitch and have a bad result that's costly.
Yep.
And that's what happened with Soriano. You know what? You can tell there's some Cub fans here because they reacted to that pitch being called a strike. They were disappointed. Well, Rockies fans now trying to drown them out.
Well, that's what they're doing.
That's the old backup slider, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And Farno tried to duck it, tried to go work underneath it. A little bit of a playoff atmosphere here tonight. A lot of fun. Two clubs that are really battling. You get the Cubs, who are leading the Central, 2 games back in the wild card. Rockies a game back.
That's what it was like in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
3 straight sellouts for the Rockies.
Well, it's nice to be home in front of your own fans, though, when you got this playoff atmosphere going.
No doubt about it. 2-2. It's just one of those nights. Ubaldo battling himself. He's got to get Fontenot. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets Fontenot. I may be wrong on this. I wouldn't be surprised if Jim Tracy pats him on the back and talking to Bob Apodaca and says, you know what, 2 runs, 6 innings. No, I know you're used to working deeper than that, but that's good enough tonight.
Well, a lot of traffic late last couple of innings, too.
Yep. He got him on a breaking ball. He ends up striking out the side. The Texas leader by Soriano plays 1. It's 5-2. Bid was 6. To increase the Rockies' lead from 3-1 to 5-1. That was the Frost Brewed Coors Light freeze can. Samardzich's still out there. There's Ubaldo Jimenez, 90-plus pitches in. That run, by the way, for the Cubs last inning was unearned because of the error on Omar Quintanilla. That pitch is in there to Ian Stewart for a strike. Stewart, a base hit and a walk tonight. He's 1 for 1. Just noticed Chad Godin's name in the Cubs media guide. Though he was traded early on to San Diego, the Padres yesterday traded him to the Yankees. They're going to be like the Pirates pretty soon next time we see the Padres.
Yeah, when the Pirates come into town here next week, it's going to be a whole different lineup, whole different name, roster.
Well, guys are going to have to put their name like you do on helmets first day of football practice. This ball top to second. They're going to have to put it on the top of their hats so their teammates know who everybody is. runs, by the way, for INN. As you look at the NL Central, leads all National League catchers. The Cardinals won already tonight. That's why they're a half game back. Cardinals won in Pittsburgh 6-4 this evening.
Well, that's just Lou playing gamesmanship, though, trying to take a little of the pressure off his ball club.
Well, you know, I asked him tonight, I said, who's your MVP so far? And he said, you know what, I don't know where MVP is. I'll worry about that at the end of the year. He said, you know, we've had some surprises. And I said, Randy Wells. He said, Randy Wells, and Rockies are going to see him this week. That's foul. But they've also dropped off significantly in terms of runs scored. A year ago, they led the National League in runs scored. This year, they're in the lower third of the National League. And you say, well, how can that be? Well, DeRosa's gone.
Yes.
He was a big part of it. Soto's numbers have dropped off. Ramirez was gone for a couple of months. Jim Edmonds did a great job last year. This is a soft liner on one hop. The throw to first is in time. But, you know, people forget about that. Jim Edmonds, who's now retired, they took a flyer on him, and Edmonds really responded with a nice offensive season.
Well, you think back to last season, what they go, they went 97-64, which is the best record in the National League. They had 8 All-Stars. This year they have 1 All-Star, and Derek Lee. So, I mean, you subtract all of that away. Yeah, some of those guys were pitchers, but the point is they had a roster full of All-Stars. Did it help them? No, they lose in the first round of the Dodgers.
Yeah. It's Jeff Baker. He's got a bat, the former Rocky. Went in a trade earlier this year to Chicago. Fouled off 1-1 by Omar Quintanilla. You know, Jeff Samardzija was a first-team All-Big East pitcher. He was a first-team All-American wide receiver for the Irish. He finished his career with a school record 179 catches, 27 receiving touchdowns, more than 2,500 yards receiving. "6'5", 220 pounds. Windshield damaged? Don't wait. Call Colorado's #1 team Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000. Or online at safelight.com. Ball, 2 strikes on Quintanilla. A couple of ground outs so far to the right side. And he stays off the high heat, 2-2.
Well, this will be Samardzija's last inning. As you look at what he has to do, he's coming up second next inning. Well, Samardzija signed a 5-year, $10 million deal with the Cubs, a major league deal.
Well, he had a little more leverage than the average guy coming out of college because he had the football leverage also.
Well, and that's part of the reason why he put a no-trade clause into his contract.
Inside, ball 4. So Quintanilla goes to first, and that'll bring up Ubaldo. At the end of the night, win, lose, or draw, and I doubt it's going to be a draw. Lou Piniella is going to compliment Jeff Samardzija because he has helped save the bullpen. They did give up a 2-run home run, but he's in all likelihood going to work 4 innings, keep the Cubs not only in the game, but not make it a circus down in their bullpen.
Right, where you're looking at using all 5-7 guys down there. He comes out, gives you a little bit of length. Now you're going to have to pinch hit for him next inning. He's due up second. And you probably a guy like Angel Guzman, Aaron Heilman, somebody like that having to come up and pick up a couple innings.
Again, if you're late to the party, Carlos Zambrano threw a couple of warm-up tosses down to the bullpen and his back tightened up. Same injury that had him leave the ball game against Houston in his last start after 3 innings. So Sean Marshall started. He went 2. That's a base hit for Jimenez. Look at Dexter Fowler to the plate here in the sixth. Why don't you break this swing down for
Well,
us?
first of all, you got to kind of jump up off your feet, get really right up onto your toes. That allows you to get up on top of the ball and drive it to right field. That's how you break that one down, Drew.
The left foot never moved, the right foot did.
That's okay, whatever works.
Baldo wanted to make sure he kept that average well above 240. Dexter 2 for 3. 1-1. Fowler triple in the second. Single, stole second in the fourth.
Just kidding Dexter today around the batting cage. I said, I didn't go on that last road trip, but you're gone for 10, 11 days and you grow an inch or so on me. He just started laughing. He goes, I don't know where that came from.
So, I talked to him about it, and he has grown some spring training.
I know.
Said he's grown about a half an inch.
That's amazing.
He's a little over 6'5". Two and two. Dexter, as many of you have heard us say, a very gifted basketball player in high school. Had an opportunity to play in the Ivies at Harvard, Dartmouth. Which tells you a little bit about his intellect as well.
We're talking Ivies. That's over both of our heads.
Not over your son Kyle. See, I think he's going to end up in the Ivies.
Oh, that's okay, but you and I, no.
3-2, and it's fouled off. Runners moving with 2 outs. Rockies have 10 hits. The Cubs just 4.
The big number for me so far, just 4 strikeouts. Putting the ball in play.
And this is in the air to center field. Easy play for Fukudome. Rockies will leave 2 on. 6 innings are done at Coors Field. The Rockies 5 and the Cubs 2. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. With Jeff Houston, I'm Drew Goodman. Mark Stout with us as well. The Rockies in the 7th inning have a 5-2 lead. It'll be 8-9-1 in the lineup for the Cubs. We can tell you definitively Ryan Theriot will hit first. After that, the Cubs will go to their bench.
Here's Sam Fuld, the left-handed hitter, outfielder. He's grabbed a bat, come to the on-deck circle. With that being the case, left-hander and Sam Fuld, Fukudome, another left-hander at the top of the lineup. A couple different guys going out in the bullpen out there for the Rockies. You got Matt Daly and Joe Byman.
.95 pitches in. There's the duo getting ready just in case. This is strictly for the 7th inning. The score remains the same, and Jimenez gets through this inning. You go to the 8th, and it turns to Rafael Betancourt. If it's still a 3-run game, maybe 4-run game.
Yeah, but you look at the last couple innings, and Ubaldo's really had to get through those, spend a lot of energy.
See you later. There's the hook, and that has been the pitch that he has commanded probably better than any other tonight, Jeff.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Drew. It really has, because you think about the strikeouts for Ramirez and Soto was a big breaking pitch. It wasn't the hard slider or the changeup. That one was even up a little bit, but got enough of the zone, and Ryan Theriot didn't like it, but that caught the plate.
So Samuel Fuld will be the pinch hitter. Fuld 7 for 24, as you see. He was recalled on July 31st from AAA Iowa. It's his 3rd stint up with the Cubs this year. Hitting in the 280s with Iowa. More of a gap hitter. That's a little bit south of the knees. Originally a 10th round pick out of Stanford in the 2004 draft.
And when you have an economics degree from Stanford, that's pretty good.
You have any degree from Stanford, yeah, that's pretty good.
You're right.
Another school that failed to recruit us.
I wonder
academically,
why.
athletically,
yep.
Socially. Here's the 3-1. You know, that was his get it over fastball on his 94.
Yeah.
You see, he really backed off that.
He came off about 3 or 4 miles an hour just to make sure he got it over the plate.
And, catch by Tulowitzki. Climb that ladder.
Man, oh man. That was when you're over 6 feet tall, 6'2", 6'3", and be able to have hops like Troy. And this was a line drive. That's over ahead of a lot of shortstops in the major leagues. Only 1 or 2 guys might be able to get. Look at the extension. Big glove all the way up, right at the height of his jump. Those are fun as a shortstop.
Yeah, you're one of the few shortstops who probably could have gotten to that.
Yeah, it's fun because you realize, oh, I've got a chance to get this ball when it's hit. And all you do is you start to get down in that crouch so you can explode and go up and get it.
And, you know, I thought he did, Huey, a really good job, obviously, of timing it because the ball, it wasn't a bloop, but it wasn't scorched either.
Right, and that's what makes it so difficult because you're sitting there going, do I jump now? When do I jump? One more look at it, so he had to go up, and that's just perfect timing. And then he stuck his landing.
And Fukudome walks on 4 pitches. That is the 5th walk allowed by Jimenez. 108 pitches in. Tulowitzki's going to remind him, hey, just get 1 more out. Yeah, maybe not. Jim Tracy with Milton Bradley coming up is going to go to the bullpen. So Matt Daly, who's been lights out, is going to come on. Ubaldo's going to hear it from the crowd. He struggled with command tonight, but even having said that, he gives up only 2 runs, 1 earned, in 6 2/3. And it stands to even his record at 9-9 if the pen does its job. Final out of the 7th inning. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 800 Comcast. Well, Matt Daly is a terrific young man who has a terrific story being undrafted and has had, oh, by the way, a terrific first year in the big leagues.
Yeah, 11 consecutive scoreless appearances right now. 11 in the 3rd innings. Batters are just 3 for 37 off him, an .081 average.
And lefties haven't been real good either. 245.
Yeah,
his average right on right is the 3rd best among major league relievers.
And the other reason that's why Jim Tracy had 2 guys going out there, Joe Beimel, Matt Daly, because you wanted Bradley to hit from the left side, hitting just a little over 210 from that side compared to well over 300, 351 from the right side.
He got to throw 3 times at Citi Field, New York. He was a big Mets fan growing up. He used to go to Shea Stadium, so he was pitching in front of friends and family every night and pitched very well. Here's the 1-1 on Bradley.
Well, the other advantage he has here, too, is no Cubs hitters have seen him. So he's got the advantage when he goes out onto the hill now, because they're trying to figure out, first of all, with that unusual crouch, you don't see that too often. Where's that ball going to come out of? Where's that window?
You can tell Bradley picked it up late. Maybe that's because he threw him a changeup on the prior pitch.
Yeah, and then go with the 90-mile-an-hour fastball. You see Aaron Heilman getting up and tossing for the Cubs. He'll come in next inning. But it goes back to the point of where's that window? He's not like a typical over-the-top guy.
3-2. Fukudome will be off with the pitch. Here's the 3-2, and Bradley is gone, and he smashes his bat in 2 pieces in the ground. Matt Daly's done it again. He gets the final out in the 7th inning. 5-2 Colorado. attendance yet. 5-2 Colorado. Let's check in again with Mark Stout.
All right, Drew, up here in the rock pile. It is packed with the Rockies fans. Let's get you to this date in history. Brought to you by Dex. We go back a couple of years on this day. Barry Bonds hit his big historic home run, number 756, passing Hank Aaron to be the home run king. The answer to the trivia question is Mike Bassick of the Nationals threw the pitch that he hit out. And Drew, you and I were talking about this. The last home run that Barry Bonds actually hit, number 762, later that year, 2 years ago, was thrown by Ubaldo Jimenez on September the 5th here at Coors Field. Let's go back up to the booth.
Yeah, you know, I didn't realize, you know, Barry's last home run was here. This is Gonzalez against Aaron Heilman, and he lines one to the gap in right center field. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. It could be triple territory. Gonzalez is going to have himself a stand-up triple. Second of the ball game for the Rockies. Dexter Fowler had one earlier. Well, you can see why Dan O'Dowd was so intrigued with Carlos Gonzalez in that Matt Holliday trade. We've seen the defense, and now we're starting to see the offense emerge at the big league level.
And he's staying on the baseball much better now. The Hyundai cam will show where that pitch was. It was right outside, right where you should hit it. But here goes back to the point where you tailor your ball club to your ballpark. Well, the outfielders for the Cubs aren't the fastest group out there. They've got a much smaller home ballpark. Well, that ball got in the gap, and that allowed him to get to triple easily.
Well, he's got to skip out of the way, 1-0. Well, the Cubs right now keeping it in the South Bend family. From Jeff Samardzija, the former Notre Dame two-sport standout, to Aaron Heilman, a former Notre Dame baseball player. Of course, the Rockies yesterday saw Brad Lidge, a former Notre Damer. And of course, Cherry Creek Brewing. 2-0 on Help. That's a strike. 2-1.
2-0. That's the pitch you don't want to swing at. He's trying to get you to roll over. You got the infield in. And Todd, being the professional hitter that he is able to lay off it. Infield in all the way across the board. Not even a couple steps deep other than Fontenot, but he'll creep in to be even with the grass.
And this will work. Help drops it into center field. Todd has his second hit, second RBI of the night, number 63 on the season. And Gonzalez scores the Rockies' 6th run. 6-2 Colorado. Good to be home, isn't it?
Oh, it is so good to be home. It's just everything about it. You feel comfortable when you go into the batter's box. You had a good night's sleep in your own bed. And a ball that was in on his hands, Todd pulls the hands in, just able to dump the ball out into center field. With the infield in, just feel like there's so much space out there. Carlos Gonzalez, you can see how big that run is. Get it back to a 4-run deficit for the Cubs.
Rockies with a dozen hits tonight. The Cubs limited to 4.
But their approach is so much better tonight.
Not even close.
Really, it's amazing after watching them on the last road trip, and then you come home and you just have this comfort level. And they're taking pitches now. Even when they take pitches, it's like, okay, I didn't want that one. I'm going to go for the next one. Or when he throws one over that I'm looking for, I'll go ahead and swing at it.
One and 2 on Tulowitzki. He's 2 for 3 tonight. Now Dexter Fowler's got 2 hits. Carlos Gonzalez has 2 hits, a double and a triple. Todd Helton has 2 hits. Troy Tulowitzki has 2 hits. Your first 4 in the lineup with 8. And then Brad Hops 1 for 3, a 2-run single. Ian Stewart has a hit and a walk. Iannetta has a 2-run home run. Quintanilla's been on with a walk. Even Ubaldo Jimenez, when he was in there, threw out a hit. Everybody's reached. And Tulowitzki goes down swinging against Heilman.
And the next Dollar Hot Dog Night is Tuesday, August 11th against the Pittsburgh Pirates. The first 10,000 fans through the gates will receive a coupon for a $1 hot dog courtesy of Hebrew National. You can get your tickets to this game at all the usual places. ColoradoRockies.com is one place to get them.
Here's Hop. He takes strike one. Here's something on Todd Help with that second RBI of the night. He moves into a tie with Hall of Famer and former Cubs catcher Gabby Hartnett with 1,179 RBIs, good for 143rd place all time. You know, when you start,
like every time he gets a hit, we're talking about somebody on the Hall of Fame list that he ties.
Yeah, it's not just a familiar name, it's typically a Hall of Fame name. Strike three on Brad Hobb. He did not like that call.
Well, there's been a few barking calls at Chris Guccione tonight. Brad thought that pitch was in, and Giovanni Soto was able to frame it. Overhead, it's right inside. It looked like a little bit. Maybe caught the inside part of the corner.
Ian Stewart. As you look forward, we said at the start of the broadcast tonight, 2/3 of the season done, exactly 1/3 left, 54 ball games. As you look forward for the Rockies to continue their quest for the postseason, what needs to happen individually? We know it has to happen collectively. They got to win a lot. They got to keep winning ball games. But individually, when you look at this club, where does it have to take place?
Well, I think first of all, it's got to take place on the offensive side a little bit. Pitchers are holding their serve. They're doing their job. The offense needs to pick it up, as we're seeing tonight, 1 through 8. Not just 2 or 3 guys doing it in this portion or this pocket of the lineup struggling, like we saw some on this last road trip, 2 or 3 guys. No, I mean, and the other thing too is I look at, you're playing a lot of games at home now. You played 24 out of your next 33 here at Coors Field. Better hold serve here and go out and win, say, 18 to 20 of those 24 games. I mean, that's a heck of a lot of games to try to win here at home. But that's the mark you've got to set for yourself.
Well, you know, they started miserably at home this year. Initially, at home, they were 7 and 13 through 20 ball games, and since then, 20 and 8. And if they can hang on tonight, 21 and 8. That's the kind of baseball that you've come to expect the Rockies to play at Coors Field. This ball in the air to center field. Long run for Fucadome, who's going to get over there. Rockies get another run. Gonzalez moves off with a triple to left center. And then Todd Help with a single to drive him in at 6-2. Do not forget, Sunday, September 6th at 5 p.m., the 2009 Rocky Mountain Showdown between Colorado State and Colorado. Here's a showdown fact for you. Corey Denver holds the Colorado team record for completions and a half against Colorado State with 22 back in '96. It's the battle for bragging rights in the state. It is always a hard-hitting and very tightly contested affair. And it'll be on our air, FSN Rocky Mountain at 5 p.m. on September the 6th, right after Rockies baseball. 6-2, Rockies leading as we turn to the 8th inning. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 800-COMCAST. In his 6th Rockies appearance since coming from the Cleveland Indians, Rafael Betancourt will take the baseball.
He's been everything and more for the Rockies. 5 straight scoreless appearances, just 1 for 14 off of Betancourt since he's been here.
Derek Lee is 0 for 3 tonight. That wide open stance. And he takes a strike.
I mentioned Derek Lee, and it reminds me a lot of Andres Galarraga, the way he stands like that. Not quite as open as Big Cat used to be, but still more of an open stance, and that he thought allowed him to get both eyes to focus on the ball and to drive it and keep those hands through the zone longer.
Quickly 0-2. Hey, look at Derek Lee's career numbers. He's got 280 career home runs. He's a lifetime 283 hitter, 900 RBIs. Pretty good numbers considering, on top of those wonderful offensive stats, he's a tremendous defensive first baseman.
A 3-time Gold Glove winner.
Slider away, stayed off at 1-2. By the way, the final line for Ubaldo Jimenez, 6 2/3. He gave up 2 runs, only 1 of which was earned, 4 hits, walked 5, struck out 6. So, you know, every time they point down Angel Campos, he's had the same reaction.
Well,
Say,
yeah.
no swing.
No swing. And he's had a lot of tough calls tonight, too, because there have been some that have been right on the edge of making that swing.
I don't think he went.
I don't think he did either. It's not where the hands go, it's where the barrel of the bat goes. And that's where it's a very difficult decision for the umpire, but they have to just look at that sight line right down the line. Did I see that barrel go past that point?
Fastball missed, and it's 3-2 on Lee. Ramirez on deck.
I like what Chris did there. Just put down the fastball, set up on the outside third, not try to hit the corner. You got a 4-run lead. So what? If he hits one out, you still got a 3-run lead. Right off the mask from a Hyundai Cam. It's amazing when we were able to slow it down with that Hyundai Cam, how much it looks like it just jars their head and their neck.
What if it were to stick in the mask? Be a held strike 3, right?
Yes, it would be. Never hit the ground.
Giants and Reds, a game of particular interest to Rockies fans, and for that matter for Cubs fans also, because of the wild card. St. Louis, they're a half game up now in the Central. Came in tied with the Cubs. Three and 2 again on Derek Lee. Strike 3 on the outside corner. Betancourt's got to take a walk, look away. was once Derek Lee's running down first, hoping he doesn't get called back.
Yeah, because there's nothing you can do. You can't hit it. You just look at it. The overhead camera. We saw that earlier on Brad Hopp. Same location. He was called out on strikes.
Here's Ramirez. He's 0 for 3. Another quality start for the Rockies tonight. Definition of a quality start: 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs or less allowed. The Rockies came into the contest leading all of baseball with the Chicago Cubs in quality starts, 67 of them. Again, how things have changed. Humidor, a big reason, but the quality of this Rockies pitching staff also the biggest reason of all. And now the Rockies have 68. They moved ahead of the Cubs. There's a strike. It's 0-2. Leading all of baseball. And their road ERA, they're at home right now, their road ERA is second in the big leagues.
So that to me goes back to the point always when people talk about Coors Field and how it's just this hitter's bonanza. I think that's got to be thrown out the window now.
Just do your homework. That's
exactly.
That's all one should ask. Do your homework. Things change. There's a pop up in the middle of the infield. Quintanilla and Tulowitzki, and Troy makes the catch, 1 out. Here's tonight's Mercedes-Benz E-Class Attention Assist of the game. Look at that catch by Troy Tulowitzki earlier. With a third look and a fourth. That's brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz. You must experience the amazing new E-Class. Giovanni Soto with the trifecta. He has struck out 3 times so far. Trying to stay away from the golden sombrero.
And he's going to earn that one if he gets it, because tonight he's had a couple where he swung, one where he was looking. He just hasn't looked very good at the plate at all.
One out. Derek Lee at first. Conservative lead with his club down by 4 runs. Rockies starters ERA 8th in the league at 4.10. 8th in baseball, I should say, at 4.10. Again, that pitch on the corner, not being given a bet for it. It's 2-1.
I think you have to put that in your mind now and say, you know what, he's not going to call the ball outside to a right-handed hitter. Let's try to go someplace else.
Best every year by the Rockies starting rotation. They had a 4.58 ERA in 2007, the year that they went to the World Series. So right now they're 8th in baseball. The Giants are number 1. The Cubs are number 2. Jeff Francis, good to see Jeff.
He's out tossing before today's ball game.
Yeah.
He can right on track to where he should be. Good to see.
This could be 2. There's 1, and there's 2. Tulowitzki's flash weather tonight. Leaping, running in the hole, doing his thing. 6-2 Colorado, middle of 8th. Chris Iannetta against John Graybo. Rounds to third base. John Graybo, the former Pirate. A lot of teams had interest in Graybo around the trade deadline, and the Cubs picked off Graybo and another left-hander who the Rockies will see on Monday, Tom Gorzolani.
Well, they needed both of them, too, because you think about it, Ted Lilly's on the DL with a bad knee, bad shoulder. And then Graybo was going to be that second left-hander out in the bullpen because of Sean Marshall. He could only be used as a situational guy. Yeah, we saw him come into tonight's ball game and end up starting it, but so many times Lou had to save him to the 7th, 8th, 9th inning to go get that one tough left-hander out. Now he has two left-handers out there.
And I think every skipper in a perfect world would like to have two lefties. Jim Tracy said as much when the Rockies were able to pick up Joe Beimel to complement Franklin Morales.
Either that or you can go the route of the guys down in San Diego. Not have any out there, but Black chooses sometimes to go with zero.
You know, and the Padres through the years have had a lot of success with that philosophy only because the guys they used late could, from the right side, got lefties out. I mean, Scott Linebrink had a terrific 3 or 4 year run there as one of the primary setup guys for Trevor Hoffman. Sliders outside. 2-2 on Quintanilla. Well, Houston Street is going to get an opportunity to work in the 9th inning. Well, it's not a save situation. Seven-game homestand for the Rockies. 4 with the Cubs and 3 with the Bucks. And a slider strikes out Omar Quintanilla. Let's check in again with Mark Stout with tonight's great Colorado Payback sideline report. There's Mark.
All right, Drew, Jeff, you've been talking about the pitching on this team. Let's talk a little bit about the hitting. I spoke with Don Baylor before the game. Of course, the team scuffled a bit on the road trip, but this team is hitting .277 at home coming into this game in which they've got 12 hits. And when you look at their rankings in the National League, the league average is .259. The team's hitting .257. Third in runs, third in ribbies, third in doubles, second in homers, fourth in on-base percentage, second in slugging percentage, and first in sac flies. And I'll never forget what Brad Hopp told me last year. You look at numbers that only go up, not those that go down. And that's how you have clutch baseball, and that's how you score runs and win games, guys.
Good point. 1-1 on the pinch hitter, Garrett Atkins. Garrett's done a good job pinch hitting. And he's swinging the bat much better of late.
4 for 12 as a pinch hitter, 4 RBIs this year.
3 for 10 in the Philadelphia series, including a home run. Got a 4 RBI night, in fact, on Monday in Philadelphia. Or was that Tuesday? Monday he didn't have any RBIs because they didn't play.
Yeah, Monday was an off day unless he went out to the Little League field or the high school field and drove in a few runs.
You know, I'll have to ask him. 3-2 on Atkins. Ball 4. We were talking about how successful the Rockies bullpen has been. It has really come together. Look at this. This is what the opposition's hitting. Those are Betancourt's National League numbers. 071. Chacin, since he's been called to the big leagues, 111. Beimel with the Rockies, 125. Fogg's been unbelievable, 146. Morales, 154. Juan Rincon is on that list. He's on the DL. That ball's ripped by Fowler. So everybody that's active, the league's hitting less than 200 against him.
Yeah, and think about this too. Houston Street was the only guy on the opening day roster. That's how much this roster has been, this bullpen's been reshuffled. But once they did the reshuffling, how it's come together, like Jim Tracy has wanted it to. You got a couple lefties out there now. You can mix and match. You can go Daly, who's able to be that one-out guy if you need to. Maybe a whole inning, an inning and a third. And then you've got a legitimate 8th inning guy. You've got your legitimate closer. You got all the pieces in the puzzle, and then you throw that on top of what you talked about last half inning about the quality starts. by the pitchers. Now that bullpen is in the right slot.
Use them when you want to, not when you have to. Gonzalez takes ball one. How about Dexter Fowler? You know, he was not going to start tonight with Zambrano going. The original lineup had Seth Smith leading off. At 2 minutes of 7, when Zambrano couldn't answer the bell, Jim Tracy tapped him on his shoulder and said, Dexter, we got a lefty going, you're in.
Yeah,
and he's responded with 3 hits.
Well, sometimes that works that way. I mean, just because you're sitting there going, I'm not going to play, and all of a sudden your mind, you got to get ready. Well, you don't focus so much on your mechanic. You just go out there and you play, because you don't have time to think about, okay, well, if this guy in this situation, what's he going to throw me? Is he going to throw me an 0-2? No, you just go up there, you see the ball, you hit it.
Yeah. Hitting instructors love to simplify it. Hitters will say, see it, hit it. And a shattered bat, the baseball to Fontenot. So the Rockies got a hit and a walk in the inning. They leave 2 on. We'll go to the 9th inning. Houston Street will look for the final 3 outs. 6-2 Colorado. Field with a full moon overhead, which means strange things could happen to our post-game host, Tom Helmer, tonight.
Ooh, yeah, it's going to be wild out here. I think there's some activity out here, Drew. We'll keep an eye on that. But we're going to get you into the clubhouse after the ball game. We'll also talk about the Zambrano factor, not only how it changed the complexity of this game, but how it's going to affect the Cubs moving forward. And you the man, Ubaldo Jimenez, another quality start, put his team in a position to win. We'll break down his performance. It's coming up right after the game. Drew?
Tom, you with a full moon overhead. That's a lethal combination.
I just hope they have security out there.
Yeah. He's talking about the fans. Security's going to be hauling Helmer out in a little bit. Tom, we'll look forward to the post-game show. Alfonso Soriano will lead things off against Houston Street. He was on some kind of roll. He has saved 20 in a row. This is not a save situation. He leads the National League with 28.
Yeah, but even though it's not a safe situation, you look at this ball game, you're coming home, you got a 4-run lead. Don't save him. Go ahead and use him for this game to close it out. Start this homestand on the right foot.
Yeah. Ball 1 on Soriano. The league 2 for their last 36. Think about that.
Yeah.
2 for their last 36 against Houston Street.
Yeah, nobody on, just hitting 148 against them throughout the whole year.
He's got 19 1, 2, 3 ninth innings this year.
It's just that comforting feeling. There's a guy playing behind him, guy sitting on the bench, when he comes in, that the ball game's over. And that's just such a nice feeling because of his control, the way he's able to hit his spots. And if he needs to hit that outside corner, he hits it. If he needs to throw the slider, he'll do that.
This ball lined to deep center field, and Dexter is going to throw it back in. Got to watch that again. Dexter took a shot at that. I thought it was clearly going to be over his head. A double for Soriano.
He hit this ball right on the screws. They hit it hard. Dexter goes back, and not quite sure why he jumped there. I don't have an answer for you.
That's a little different.
That was a little different.
So Soriano at second, Mike Fontenot at the plate. And Mike takes a strike. Fontenot is 0 for 2 and a walk. I can't remember the last time Houston Street worked out of the stretch, much less worked out of the stretch and had to glance at second base. Is how you score that. 1 out in the 9th inning. A reminder, when the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and feed your fever with 4 tacos for $1. That is a steal. Let's check stores for more details. We got our tacos up here tonight.
Very nice robbing the game from Taco Bell to bring those into us tonight.
Rob Alvarado. Here's Ryan Theriot. Strike 1 on Theriot.
Right now, you're Houston Street. You don't even care about the guy as Soriano over at third base.
Good slider. How about the double by Soriano, folks? Think about this, what I'm about to tell you. Let me tell you first, then you can think about it. Works better that way.
It usually does, since I know what I need to think about.
Right. Are you done thinking about it?
I'm done thinking about it. Now tell me.
That was the 3rd hit Houston's allowed since June 29th.
3rd hit.
3rd hit.
Wow, think about it. That's pretty impressive.
And that is the 2nd out as Theriot goes down. He also averages better than a strikeout in inning. And we'd be remiss if we did not tell you that they're 46,118 at Coors Field tonight.
That just gets you going as a player, too. You come home, you've been playing in front of a packed crowd in Philadelphia. Now you come home in front of your own fans, and they're standing on their feet. They're excited.
Jake Fox, who can swing the bat a little bit. The pinch hitter. Fox been good as a pinch hitter, and when he's started, he's done a good job. 8 home runs, 27 RBIs.
A former catcher, 3rd-round pick of the Cubs, and now he's more of a utility guy, outfielder, can play a little bit of third base. But what's got him to the big leagues, as you mentioned, Drew, is his bat.
Yep, it's his bat, and he has played a little third base, especially when Ramirez was down. Jeff Baker was playing some over there. Mike Fontenot played there a ton. First time in Fontenot's career, actually, that he played third. He's always been second baseman. 1 ball, 1 strike on Fox. And it's popped up in the infield. Omar Quintanilla called it. He's got it. The Rockies take the first game of this 4-game series from Chicago. The final score 6-2. And Jeff Francis pats his teammate Ubaldo Jimenez on the back. Jimenez gets his 9th win of the year. He levels his record at 9-9. And the Rockies